Hey, there you are. It's February 10th. Just a quick one to cover what's been going on here, which physically hasn't been a heck of a lot. We got our parts for the Yamaha dog. Thanks, Ace. Sent us those parts arrived from Lakeland. So I haven't done anything with them yet, but we have everything we need to finish up the carburetor and get the gearing on it that we're going to need for the tire circumference we're going to need for Grattan. So once everything's bolted in place, motor and all that, we can start working on our custom little flex pipe we're going to make for it. We're going to use either angle the header a little bit and use some S-shaped flex pipe instead of a straight piece. Or we'll just run the pipe, up in the air, up and over the clutch and tire or whatever like we did on the vintage kart. All depends on how much time we have. But we want to get the motor in place so we know where we're going to mount the seat for that kart. And if we don't get body work done for it, it really doesn't matter. We really just want to get it to the track and make sure the function works, the brakes work, the steering and what have you, and scuff the tires in and make sure the motor runs and it doesn't blow up and the carburetor works. And that's it. So we have, like I said, we're halfway through, man, through February already, and with it only being 28 days, the second half of February going to fly right by. It'll be March, like I said, it'll be April before you know it. So that's our focus: April. Got to go back to the big carb thing just for a minute. As you can see here, I brought up the old video from the 28th, and I'm telling you, listen, if you don't understand how this carburetor works, you need to go back here and read this stuff. How the low-speed needle works to just work the smoothness of the idle. The pop-off pressure has to do with just off idle to quarter throttle, and that's it. In conjunction with the low-speed jet, which is just off idle to 1/3 throttle, and that's it. And how these things work in conjunction with one another. We dropped the pop-off pressure from 60 to 30 pounds. I've told you that. That's going to fatten up that 1/3 to 1/4 throttle bit. We leaned the main jet or the low-speed jet a little bit from the 85. It was at, I think, 73 was another option that we had. We also think we have a 57 available to us as well. So we, instead of taking all of it, we only took a little. Actually, I think we went to 63. We have a 57, a 63, and the 85 that was in it. So we didn't do anything with the high speed. We know the high-speed needle was fat, which could also play a role in the bog that it had at Daytona. As I mentioned, we didn't add the little reeds. So that's something we have in a little track package with fatter and leaner low-speed jet, fatter high-speed jet, and those little anti-siphon valves that we can try to make this carburetor work before we give up on it and go back to our 30 millimeter. Again, Daytona's behind us. We don't need a big carb to run anywhere else. Obviously, the little carb might even be an advantage, seeing as there's no big, long Daytona-type, minute-long, wide-open throttle, 6-gear straightaway. So it isn't going to kill us to go back to the little carb, but we do, if we can figure the thing out, let's figure it out, right? So once we get past getting the Yamaha dog, at least in one piece, it doesn't even need to have body work on it, so we can run it around the track, make sure the motor runs, carb works, we don't blow it up, all that kind of stuff. Scuff in the tires, make sure all the brakes and everything are balanced and working. And the car is good to go, and then we can worry about prettying it up, getting body work on it for later on in the summer. Get past April, and if the F-125 is running, it gets shelved too. Back to the storage unit, go both of those karts. And then we bring from the storage unit the super kart chassis and the Emmick enduro chassis that we lengthened, and we start throwing those things together, getting them minimum into a roller built up enough to where it's got 4 wheels, brakes, steering, all that kind of stuff on it. And we can either start marketing this stuff for sale, or we can continue to build them up. This is after April. It's going to keep us going through the summer. We also have a secret project for somebody else that's going to be going on at the same time that when we're out in the garage will be covered up. So you won't be able to see what's going on with that until it's finished, and then it'll be at that point up to the folks we're building the kart for. And you know, it'll be up to them to let you see it. But it's not, you know, we can't be sharing that kind of stuff with y'all when, you know, they're paying us to do the work. So that's really it, I guess, at this point. Had some trouble with these cameras. As you see the video being split up after 15 minutes. It continues to blink like it is right now, but it just breaks the video into segments. I got a hold of GoPro before Daytona. They said it had to do with you needed to update the firmware in the camera. You can go online and do all this stuff. And I kind of started really working on that yesterday and the day before, and come to find out that for some reason, I get to the point where I got the serial number put in, I got my email put in, I click yes, I accept, you know, all the BS for GoPro. And I get to the point where it says upload the update to my computer, and then with you connected to the computer via USB, that upload, I could take the files out of it one by one, move them to the card in the camera, and then I would, when all those files are in and on the card, I can unplug you from the computer, from the USB, and basically shut the camera off and turn the camera back on. When the camera comes back on, the updates will be on the SD card in there, and it would update the camera. And then we could go ahead and do that with the other camera as well if we needed to. The one that we took the video with at Daytona was this waterproof. It's a GoPro waterproof camera. What does waterproof mean? It actually had the solid back door with no windows on it. I put this one on so sound would get into it, because I'm not going to do any underwater stuff. But the camera doesn't come out of the housing. The camera and housing are one inseparable unit. Unlike our other Hero 3 with the fisheye lens, with the bigger, rounder lens, and our standard housing that you would put the camera in and take the camera out of. Okay? You know, you turn this upside down, the camera comes out. With the waterproof, it doesn't come out. This one, if you watch that video again, the engine break-in video was more than 17 minutes long, and it didn't split into segments. So maybe this one doesn't need the updating. Maybe it's just that particular camera, the Hero 3 white, where the numeral 3 is white instead of black like this one. I don't think this one is giving us that kind of trouble either. And it may have to do with these SD cards as well. Talking to GoPro, they said this is the SanDisk. So you got to get the up-close glasses on. This is the Ultra Plus, which is red and silver or red and gray. The one that's in the camera right now is the Ultra Extreme, which is red and tan or gold. And they said that particular card should be okay with these cameras, but that's the one, you know, we've been using, and that's the one we're having the problems with. So don't know if we just need to go get cards. We tried to, GoPro walked me through trying to reformat these cards, and we couldn't even get that done because none of this stuff seems to be working. So we'll deal with the 15-minute long clips. We'll just be on like we are right now on the stopwatch, and got to keep where we're almost 10 minutes in. We'll just have to stop the videos before they get to, you know, say the 14-minute mark, and make sure that there's just going to be one clip, and you won't have to go from one to another and A to B, and etc. If it's on top of the helmet and we're going to do a 30 or 45-minute race and it breaks it into segments, oh well, you're going to have to watch all the segments. Hopefully we just get a camera, maybe one of these other cameras that don't give us that problem. But so there we are. We've made it through the carburetor gig. I've told you to go back and read and study what he's trying to teach you about the different parts and pieces of the carburetor and how they talk to throttle position and not engine speed, not vehicle speed, and how changing and adjusting those things are hopefully going to make this carburetor work correctly. We're excited to get the Yamaha together finally, and I'm looking forward to a little gas and brakes ride too, you know. That ought to be good fun. The 4-banger's ready to go. Air up the tires, dump the alcohol in it. We may need to swap out a diaphragm gasket in that carburetor. We haven't had to do it yet, but we've got extra parts. So we'll have more than enough toys to go play with up there. Then after April, obviously, we're going to hit it hard hard on these other 2 chassis we have and that secret project that we got for a customer. So that's it for the 10th. Under the weather a little bit with the cough, cold, flu, me and the wife a little bit, just a couple days for me, maybe a couple days longer for her. Both of us kind of having some after glow or after effects. Her with some weird pains that she's feeling. She's calling them body aches that continue on, and me, a lack of motivation where when I do get out in the garage, all I want to do is come back in the house and sit down. So that's it. Hopefully, we get to working on something here. It'll motivate us to get outside, even though it's a bit cold. But that's it for the 10th. It's been 10 days, another 18 days, and we're right through February into March. And the next thing you know, bing, bang, boom, it'll be April. So hang in there. God bless, Godspeed. I am praying for you. Pray for me because I need it too. Hang in there, y'all. It'll get better. It'll get better. You'll never catch me on one of those, but it'll get better. We're playing with them go-karts in just another few weeks. Talk to y'all. Hang in there.